story of Sadhu Sundar Singh, a figure whose spiritual journey bridged Hindu, Sikh, and Christian traditions, and whose life became a symbol of cross-cultural faith in early 20th century India. Born on September 3, 1889, in the village of Rampur, Sundar Singh grew up in a wealthy Sikh family deeply influenced by Hindu spiritual practices. His mother, a devout woman, often took him to sit at the feet of a Hindu sadhu who lived in the nearby jungle, where he learned about meditation, karma, and the cycles of rebirth. She also enrolled him in Ewing Christian High School in Ludhiana, exposing him to English and Christian teachings, though at first he dismissed Christianity as a foreign religion with no connection to Indian spirituality. By age 7, he had memorized the Bhagavad Gita, and by his teens, he had studied the Vedas and Quran, developing a sharp intellect and a restless desire for spiritual truth. Tragedy struck when Sundar was 14. His mother died after a long illness, leaving him shattered and angry at the gods he had been taught to worship. In his grief, he turned against all faith, persecuting local Christians, mocking their prayers, and even burning a Bible page by page in front of his friends as a public act of defiance. He felt that no religion could answer his questions about suffering, death, or the purpose of life, and he became convinced that existence was meaningless. Desperate and hopeless, he resolved to end his life by throwing himself onto a railroad track. But before doing so, he cried out in a final plea, "If there is a true God, reveal yourself to me, or I will die." That night, as he lay in despair, Sundar later recounted having a vision of a radiant figure with wounds in his hands and feet, looking at him with infinite love. The figure spoke to him, "Why do you persecute me? I died for you and love you." In that moment, Sundar knew he had seen Jesus Christ, and a wave of peace he had never experienced washed over him. He immediately declared his faith in Jesus to his father, Singh, who was horrified, seeing conversion as a betrayal of family honor and cultural identity. His father disowned him, and his brother Rajendra tried to poison him multiple times to save the family's reputation. Neighbors threw snakes into his home, and he was forced to flee, finding refuge with a British Christian family in the hills near Simla. On his 16th birthday, Sundar was publicly baptized into the Anglican Church in Simla. Rather than adopting Western Christian customs, however, he chose to live as a sadhu, wearing a traditional saffron robe, carrying only a staff and a New Testament, and relying on the kindness of strangers for food and shelter. He believed that Christianity could only take root in India if it embraced local spiritual traditions, and he rejected the idea that faith required abandoning one's cultural identity. For the next 2 decades, he traveled on foot across India, Tibet, Afghanistan, and even parts of Europe and Australia, preaching a message of love, compassion, and redemption through Jesus. He became known as the Apostle with bleeding feet for the thousands of miles he walked, often in harsh mountain terrain, and he ministered to everyone from lepers and outcasts to kings and monks. Sundar's ministry was marked by stories of miraculous healings, visions, and encounters with spiritual beings. He would often spend days meditating in caves or forests, and he spoke of meeting angels, demons, and even Hindu gods who acknowledged the supremacy of Christ. Unlike many missionaries of his time, he respected sincere seekers of truth from all faiths, saying, "The divine spark in every soul cannot be destroyed." Even those who do not know Jesus may be led to him through their own spiritual struggles. He criticized both rigid Christian fundamentalism and empty Hindu ritualism, arguing that true faith must come from the heart, not just rules or traditions. In 1929, at age 39, Sundar set out on his most ambitious journey yet, to reach the isolated Buddhist monasteries of Tibet, where he hoped to share the gospel with monks who had never heard of Jesus. He was last seen on April 19th near the village of Kalka, at the foot of the Himalayas, telling companions he was heading into the mountains. He never returned, and his fate remains a mystery. Some believe he died of exposure or was killed by bandits, while others claim he reached Tibet and lived out his days as a hermit, or even ascended to heaven in a vision. Today, Sadhu Sundar Singh is venerated as a saint in the Anglican Church and is remembered as one of India's most influential Christian leaders. His writings, including The Cross and the Crescent and At the Master's Feet, continue to inspire people across faiths, and his life remains a powerful testament to the idea that spiritual truth can transcend cultural and religious boundaries.